The April update is live, and that means an overhaul of the new player experience in Elite. And today we're going to have a comparison between the old and the new. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new player experience in Elite. As I said, we're going to do a comparison between the old and the new one. So let's dive right into it, and let's start by having a look at the old system before the April update 2019. So when you start up a brand new account, the first thing you're treated with is the UI where you type in your commander name. And in this case, just for the purpose of the test, we're going to type in test commander. And you're moved on to the next scene where you can choose between the Horizon Sidewinder and the new commander Sidewinder. Right off the bat, this scene would be very confusing, I think, to a new commander. There's a little bit different in the description of it, the credit balance, and the starting location is also different. And the ship has a slightly longer description explaining that it has some vehicle bay and some other stuff on it. But again, if I were a new player, I would probably be a little bit confused about this one, which I would have to choose, because to be honest, there's not a whole lot of difference between them. But yeah, in this case, for instance, I would probably end up just going new commander, since, I mean, as a new player, do you know Horizons? You may know what that is if you bought Horizons, but do you know what a Sidewinder is? Well, if you haven't played the game before, I don't know. But in this case, we're going to choose a Horizon commander, and we're going to give this ship a name and call this test ship. And then we're treated back to the main menu. And that's pretty much the whole character creation. That was it. Now, from this point, of course, we have the UI that we all know that's been there for years. You have access to training, and you can go into start. Now, you should probably go in and do the trainings if you're a brand new character, but you can also go in here, and then you're treated with the options, of course, to go to open or to solo. Again, you would have to know what the difference is. I guess there's a little bit of flavor text, but I'm not even sure if it actually says if this is a permanent choice or not. I mean, if you choose solo, are you then bound to be a solo character forever? I'm not sure if that actually says so there. But as soon as we get into the hangar, we would assume at this point that people have run some of the tutorials and know the basic of ship flight, and they know how to navigate the UI. And we would notice that we have received a message. If we open up the message, we can see mission available, and we get some flavor text explaining us that we have to launch from the station, and basically it's a data delivery mission that is giving us, but they wrapped it in a little bit more information. We can actually see the mission over here in our transaction tab, and the mission is called Welcome New Commander, which we have like a week almost to complete. Again, I'm assuming here that people have already played a little bit of the tutorials or the trial scenarios, so people would know I have the basic idea of what a mission is and how to navigate the star systems and that kind of stuff. Because other than that, if you don't have that, then you are pretty much on bare grounds here. So we're just gonna go. We're gonna set our destination to our first system, and then we're gonna take off. Once we've taken off from the station, we are treated with a second message, and also we encounter one of the first problems. Of course, because we choose a Horizon commander in this case, we of course start on a planet surface, and as you can see here, frame drive cancelled, destination target obscured, because the target system that we're going to is obscured behind the planet, so we have to fly around it. I'm not sure if they cover this kind of thing in the tutorials. I don't think they do. And that means you would have to know that you have to go into Super Cruise specifically and not just use jump as you've been used to so far, probably from the tutorials, and you have to move around. And I know that there's an effect that the planets move around and the planets rotate, but again, this is it's a little inconvenient. It's a little inconvenient for a new player. You have to figure out, why can't I suddenly activate my frameshift drive the same way I could as when I were in the tutorial missions. But eventually we make it around the system, and we're treated with our third message for this small mission. And then it says that we're pleasantly arrived at the system, and that we need to dock at a specific station, and then it will speak with the contact there. and they pretty much guide us to how we can find the station and like tell us to go to the navigation panel and that kind of thing. So they kind of help us along a little bit here with our first mission. To even though me people, if they haven't run the tutorials, you could still kind of read up on some of it in these messages. So far I think these messages are really helpful, and having like a lot of I wouldn't call it flavor text, but helpful texts. I think it's very useful in this first mission that we are flying. So we managed to find the station, log on to it, and we set destination and begin to fly towards it. So once we make it to the station, of course, we can go back and we can have a look at the message that we got, and it actually gives us some nice helpful tips of what to do. It says here, when you've docked at the station, access the station services, then select the mission board to find your contact to complete the registration process. So that's nice and easy. We have the station services right in front of us here. And then a small exclamation mark next to the mission board, also making it fairly easy to spot. And on the mission board, we then have the welcome commander mission that we can then complete for our 10,000 credits. And I like this situation now. Now you're actually being treated with the mission board. You have it here right in front of you, where you can now begin to scroll through and browse for your own missions. And we also received yet another message where it says, well, if you're interested in specific aspects of the game, be that trade, combat, exploration, and it tells you which systems you can go to, and which stations, and you can get more information about it there. So already here it tells you, well, the different aspects of the game, figure out what you want to do, and it tells you where to go. Or you can just look at the mission board right in front of you, pick a mission, and you kind of got the game started, right? So that's the new player experience as it used to be. Let's go and let's have a look at the changed, updated / improved new player experience. So here we are in the game after the April update, and we already see some nice changes, I think, to the start menu here. It's a lot smoother to look at now. Instead of just that small text up in the corner, it's been pulled up, it's been simplified. And again, this is a completely clean account. There's no commander on this, so I'm just gonna go here and click start. And we can see here that, again, treated with a much nicer UI. We get a warning here saying that our name is permanent and cannot be changed. There's a nice little warning to get. And we also get a chance to choose our body type, whether we want to play male or female, but it also tells us that yes, this option can be changed later at any time. So we're going to change male, and we're going to keep our name Test Commander, and we're going to continue. And then again, we have pretty much the same option as we had before, but again, the UI is a lot better. Rather than just being like two small text options you had to choose between, you now actually have a what feels like a lot more modern game UI than what we had before. However, it is still a little confusing, I think, to a new commander. Like, yes, we have a Sidewinder. Again, we have the Horizon Sidewinder new commander, so it's the same options as before. And I know why these are here. That's because if depending on which packs you buy, you can have many different options here. But again, here we get some locations, which at this point tells us absolutely nothing as a new player. We don't know, I mean, what are these systems? I don't know. Same credit balance. So the main thing that I notice here is that, well, there's a different loadout. I can get an all-round loadout, or I can get a planetary ops loadout. Now, before we choose a Horizon Sidewinder, so I think I'm going to choose that again in this case. But if I were a new player, I would probably choose the new commander here, because I would probably choose an all-round setup if I don't know the game yet, then going for something that seems to have a specific role. So again, I think it's nice that they put this loadout information down here. Is really good. So let's go ahead and pick our Horizon Sidewinder. And then we have this screen. Now, I kind of have an issue with this. See, there's basically some basic information about our ship, but we have no options here. There's nothing we can change. And we get some information about our ship that at this point is completely useless to us. I mean, we get information about the top speed of a Sidewinder. Sure. Is 207 meters, 17 meters, is that fast? Is that slow? I don't know. I'm a brand new player. I've never played the game. Boost speed. Okay, so there's like an afterburner. You can fly faster, get it. FSD range. What's an FSD? And is this long? Is this a long jump range? No, I know it's jump range, but it doesn't say if this is jump range. It just says FSD range. If it's at frame shift drive jump range, then I might be able to. I could probably guess, since the range has something to do with with light years. If I could probably guess this would be light years, then yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. Again, we have some information about shield, armor, hull mass, and cargo. No idea. I have no idea if how much shield this is. Is this a lot? Is this not a lot? Is this good? Is it? I don't know. And there's some basic descriptions of what we get in the ship. So, but again, I know the screen is here because, again, if you have some of the more luxurious packs, you get other options in terms of ships. You can also choose, I think you can get a Cobra in some cases to start with as a starter ship. And then, of course, you would have the options here to choose which ship you wanted. But from my point of view, to make this a little bit easier on a new player, if they don't have an option on this screen, don't show it at all, just skip it outright. That's my option, in my opinion at least. So let's go ahead and continue. We get a chance to fill out the ship with a name. So let's just call this for ship name. There we go. So we fill that out. Again, nice interface. I really like having the Sidewinder up like this. It looks really good. Let's continue. Now we get to choose our starting location. And again, they have some really nice flavor tests. They said this system is only recommended as a starting location for seasoned commanders. And this over here says that this option is recommended for new commanders. Really nice to put that in there. And of course, this new Dromi is inside the new, I think it's called the Federation District or something like that. Pilots Federation District, I think it's called. Like the nuclear area where only new players can go. So this is of course why they're recommending this. So in this case, we're of course going to choose the nuclear area. We get a small business card, or basically our license, our pilot's license. Again, a nice little touch, like kind of like, okay, let's just summarize what you've done. Here's your license. I like this screen, even though again, there's no information here that we didn't have before, and there's no options for us. But I liked having this like summary saying this is what you want. Of course, you have the option to go back if you want to change something. Okay, we click confirm, and now we get there's some options here to choose either to go with some training simulations and go directly to start to play the game. Now, this is a lot more visible than it was before. Before it just said training and it says start in like the normal menu. I like you have it like this instead. One thing that I don't like though is, but if you complete a training mission, you will come back to a UI that was suddenly vastly different than what it was before. I can show you it here from my live stream where I tested it out. And that I think would be a little confusing, so I would really like if we would go back to the same UI after we finished the training mission, so we kind of like back on familiar ground, instead of suddenly showing us a lot more options than we had when we just completed that. It was a little overwhelming, I think. But anyway, we are we're in the dock, we are in the station now, and we can go ahead and we can see we got a few messages here. We got some information that the new district permit here, and we got a message called begin your journey. So the begin journey is pretty much the same message as we got before. Again, we have this basic mission that we should go and we should deliver something. And again, we're going to assume pretty much the same as before, that we have to go and deliver this mission somewhere. And we already know the basic of how to navigate the map and how to navigate maneuver the ship and stuff like that. One thing that was really odd though, when I was doing this on the live stream, I didn't choose New Horizon Commander. I choose just New Commander rather than New Horizon Commander. And because I choose that, it seems, I didn't get this message. Or at least when I started the character back then, I didn't get this message. Even though it was from a brand new account. I don't know why this, it must be a bug that it only shows up sometimes and not others. But overall, again, I guess we can go and we can auto launch, and we of course have to run through it. We also had to do that before, but I edited it out because I don't think it was necessarily needed. So after we complete the pre-flight checks, we of course get the standard undocking. But now the ship does behave slightly different than it would before. Normally it would be a normal dock where you have to fly it out yourself. But because of the new modules, the ship will now undock on its own. I mean, I'm not doing anything right now. The ship is just flying itself completely on its own. It even says auto launch in progress. Now, we did discuss this again when I tried it out in the live stream, and at first I would think this was a little confusing maybe for new players, that the ship was suddenly flying itself. But people had a good point in chat that for a new player, they don't know that you can undock on your own. For them, it might just be, okay, it's just like an undocking animation, basically like a cutscene for them maybe. And they will then experience it later on down the road. And it's been discussed a lot whether this undocking ships for the player is a good idea or not. And I'm back and forth between it, and I think it's an okay change because it flattens out the learning curve a little bit. I mean, Elite does have a very steep learning curve, so postponing that information about, yes, you have to learn to undock your ship yourself, and yes, you have to learn to supercruise the ship manually as well at some point. Postponing that a little bit just helps like make the learning curve not as difficult as it was before. So you postpone some of the more at least some of the task from the game. But anyway, let's from here it's pretty much the same thing. You go out, we have the super cruiser system we can use and all that stuff. So just to summarize all this, in general, I think it's some good improvements. I hope it's just a bug, the fact that when I tried this on the live stream, I didn't get that your first journey mission, or welcome journey, whatever it was called. Begin your journey. What's the name of it? I hope it was just a bug that I didn't get that. I hope it's something they will iron out, because that was really, really essential to, I think, the new player experience. It might seem like a really small thing, but just the fact that you get this first mission handed to you as soon as you're in the hangar, and it helps you out with helpful tips on where to go and what to do. I think that's really an important part of the new player experience. So again, I hope that was just a bug that will be ironed out. So overall, I definitely think that new player, especially the character creation. I mean, before it was just you put in your commander name and was pretty much it. They were like done in less than 30 seconds. I felt like I did a lot more to actually make a unique commander, even though you don't. But it felt like a lot more like a character creation process than it was before. So anyway, overall, I definitely think it's an improvement to the new player experience, and I hope that this is going to help get more people interested in the game, or at least when they are interested, that they're going to stay in the game for a little bit longer and don't get burned out so quickly. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you agree, or do you think there's some points that I missed? If you liked the video, remember to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.